What's going on, everybody? It's Monday night. It's after Raw. Raw was in Laredo, however you say that, Laredo, Texas. Whatever the name of the town is. It was in Texas, the state of Texas. Like Night of Champions was in Houston. So was from Texas. I don't know why I say Raw came from, it came from Texas. This is my Raw After Night of Champions review video on Raw. I'm going to try to do review videos on Raw after every single pay-per-view event. I'm going to try to do a Monday Night Raw review. This Raw, it wasn't that bad, but it wasn't very good either. Some stuff happened that was very good, like Paige going off and shooting on the microphone and dropping a pipe bomb on the Divas Revolution in the Divas division. So that was great. Probably the highlight of the show, for me, at least. Other things that happened on Raw after Night of Champions, you had the Raw kickoff with, thank God it did not kick off with an Authority and Seth Rollins promo, because I can't take another Authority promo. They are sickening and just really overdone and boring. I hate wrestling shows that kick off with 20-minute promos, 15-minute promos in the ring. It's enough already. We're not living in 1998 or 1999 or 2000. You don't need to be, or whatever, 2004 or 5, you don't need to be in the ring cutting 20-minute promos or 15-minute promos, wasting time. And I understand that Raw is 3 hours, so they got a lot of time to kill. So they do longer promos in the ring because it's 3 hours long. And again, 3 hours for me is too damn long to sit and watch a wrestling show. Pay-per-views are different. Why are they different? Because there's a lot less talking, a lot less backstage segments, a lot less bullshit, a lot less interview, whatever you want to call it, a lot less promos that do not go on for 10 minutes or 20 minutes on pay-per-views. Pay-per-views usually have way more. They're basically a lot of action. They have the matches and they don't deal with a lot of backstage segments. And the backstage segments that they do show on pay-per-views are really short. They're not like Raw. So if I didn't have Twitter to go on Twitter during Monday Night Raw, I'd probably go fucking insane and blow my brains out or turn it off. If I didn't have Twitter to go on and tweet about Raw and talk to other wrestling fans that are friends of mine that I follow. There's a lot of great wrestling fans on Twitter that I follow. They talk to me every Raw, every NXT, some SmackDowns. When I come on Twitter for SmackDown, SmackDown is not even worth coming on Twitter anymore to tweet about because the show absolutely sucks and it's a bore fest. So anyways, all my followers that favorite and retweet my tweets and basically tweet me and say something about the show, so then we get in a conversation. Thank you all for that. I appreciate it, because without other fellow wrestling fans and followers of mine, I would have nobody to talk to at all on Monday nights. But basically, if there was no Twitter, I would not watch the entire Raw. I would probably turn the channel to Monday Night Football. And when football's not on, when it's not football season, I probably watch the WWE Network over a lot of Raw. The only stuff that really is worth tuning in is the main event and some other stuff. So the show kicks off with, sorry I went on a bit too long about Twitter and my followers. The show started off with Wyatt family's music hit, they came out. I think they started cutting a promo, or they just came out. And then Roman Reigns' music hits, he comes out from the crowd. And then he starts trying to fight the Wyatt family off by himself. And then Dean Ambrose. What do you know? What a surprise, right? It was not a surprise at all. Everybody knew it was coming. Dean Ambrose, his music hits. He runs down to the ring to help his brother, his Shield brother, Roman Reigns. Even though there's no more Shield, I still call them the Shield brothers because they were in the Shield together and they still team up. So Ambrose hits the ring, tries to fight off the Wyatt family and take them out. It did not work. Braun Strowman, that guy is an absolute beast and monster. And then, kind of a surprise, not that much of a surprise, but a little bit of a surprise, Randy Orton. His music hits and the Viper comes back and returns. He was taken out, I believe, 2 weeks ago on Raw. So the Viper, Randy Orton, returns, comes down to the ring, hits a couple drop kicks, hits a power slam on Bray Wyatt, I believe. And Dean Ambrose comes off the top with a drop kick. But then I think the Wyatt family fought back and took out Randy Orton. I don't remember. Anyways, Randy Orton returned. It was a decent, pretty entertaining opening segment to Raw. Thank God it wasn't a promo. It was finally some action to kick off Monday Night Raw. That's how Raw should kick off every week, with action. Up next, I'm trying to think what the hell happened in the first hour. I can't really think of anything that was worth me mentioning, except I think it started in the second hour that Charlotte was going to have her big celebration because she won the Divas title last night at Night of Champions. So Charlotte was going to have a celebration. Everybody used hashtag Charlotte Celebration. It was her championship celebration. She came first. Ric Flair, her father, came out, introduced her, and talked about how proud he is of his daughter Charlotte, that he's so proud of her. And then he introduced Charlotte, and she was with Becky and Paige. They came out with her. And then Charlotte got on the microphone and talked a little bit, talked to her father, talked about her father a little bit. And then the celebration was cut off when Paige got on the microphone and went off. She went off. She shooted, if you will. She went off. She absolutely went off and dropped a pipe bomb on this Divas Revolution, and it was awesome. I really enjoyed it. Everything Paige said was basically the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So it was just great to hear Paige talk openly about what the fans were feeling inside. All the fans were saying and wanted somebody to stand up and say something of what the fans were feeling about this Divas Revolution. And Paige, obviously, I'm pretty damn sure that WWE and Vince or somebody in power gave her, could have been Stephanie, that stood up to her father and got what Paige is going to say. Vince agreed to it, maybe because Stephanie and Triple H talked Vince into it. And he finally listened for once and did what was right because the fans wanted to hear this. And it was great. Paige delivered. She absolutely delivered, and she hit a home run out of the park. She delivered in her pipe bomb. She absolutely delivered. It was perfect. It was well done. And it was great. I loved it. I marked out when she was saying everything she said. She said, basically, Charlotte, you're celebrating way too much and with your father, and you're only champion. The only thing that was false about what she said is you're only champion because of your old man. That's not true, obviously. And you know Paige doesn't feel like that. She just said it because I think they're turning Paige heel. And I damn sure hope, and I'm pretty sure what Paige said in the pipe bomb I'm pretty sure it was agreed for her to say it, and it was already planned ahead of time, because if Paige said all that in the company, or Vince or somebody, if Stephanie didn't know, if Triple H didn't know, if Vince didn't know what Paige was going to say, and she said all that, when she get to the back, she basically she committed career suicide in the middle of the ring on the microphone, because she would have probably been suspended or fired for everything she said. And WWE does not let their talent just go off the cuff and start cutting a promo on how they feel, and if they're frustrated with the company, they don't go off topic and just start cutting their own promo and going to business for themselves. Talent just don't do that. They don't do that. They're not that stupid. If they did do it, they'd probably be fired. So I'm sure what Paige said was planned ahead of time and probably in the Raw script. Anyways, we all know it's scripted. If you don't know that, you're a fucking retard. But movies are scripted too. Everybody watches movies, and for some reason people look down on wrestling, and people look down on wrestling fans because it's scripted ahead of time. It's predetermined. I don't care. Doesn't bother me. I've known it's been scripted since I was probably 7, 8 years old. I've known that. So, it doesn't bother me. Watching wrestling and escaping, and watching wrestling is an escape. So, watching it is just like watching a 2-hour movie or 3-hour movie or whatever, an hour and a half movie. Wrestling is no different than movies in Hollywood. It's no different. And for people to bash pro wrestling and wrestling fans for watching pro wrestling, they like to call it fake and use a fake word a lot. Dumbass people like Dana White, they like to call it fake because it's predetermined. It doesn't matter. Any movie you watch or go to is also fake and also a made-up story, unless it's a true story. So, whatever. Movies are this goddamn same thing, in my opinion, as pro wrestling is. Movies are scripted and they're still entertainment, and pro wrestling is scripted and it's still great entertainment. So all the haters out there that like to bash pro wrestling all the time and say their fans are so stupid because it's fake and it's scripted, why would you watch something? I've heard this for years and years and I'm fucking sick of it. And from dumbass people in the media, some people in the media and heads of companies like Dana White, head of the UFC. He doesn't own UFC, but he's like the head of it. He runs it. So dumbass people like that, how they call wrestling fake, and their fans are stupid idiots, and their fans are booger eaters because they watch wrestling. To all you people, that's what I think of you. You're a bunch of fucking idiots. Because the wrestling fans watch wrestling for entertainment. They know it's not real, you dumb fuck. Even though the injuries are real. So, taking bumps and stepping in the ring, there's nothing really that fake about it. Because guys in there, you can go in there and break your fucking neck and be paralyzed forever, like Draws ended up paralyzed. So, whatever. And for all the travel that all the wrestlers have to do all year long on the road non-stop, they're probably the toughest athletes out of any sport in the world, in my opinion. So, after I just went on a rant, I'm going to still say what Paige said was the truth. Every fan wanted to hear it, and we finally got to hear it. And it was awesome that they had Paige grab the mic and say that. It was better for Paige to say it than Becky Lynch. If she said it, it would have really made no sense, because Paige is the one that started this Divas Revolution all by herself. She, I don't know who came up with the goddamn word. It doesn't really matter who came up with the Divas Revolution word. I think Stephanie did on Raw. But Paige started it. She was fighting the Bellas. She's fighting the Bellas months ago for the for the Divas title, and she couldn't win. And then she finally got some backup. So I can understand Paige, storyline-wise, I can understand why Paige is frustrated and fed up and has had enough. Because everybody now, if you're looking at it through Paige's eyes, everybody now is going to say Charlotte is the champion and Charlotte is the leader of the Divas Revolution and Charlotte is the best in the Divas division, and basically nobody's going to give Paige any credit, and Paige had enough. She dropped a pipe bomb and it was epic. That was the best part of Monday Night Raw tonight, was what Paige said on the microphone in the ring during the Charlotte celebration. I really enjoyed it. It was the best part of Raw by far. Now you had, after that, you had six-man tag, the Dudleys and Dolph Ziggler against the New Day and Rusev. I have no notes written down in front of me. I didn't write down all the matches because I'm not going to talk about every goddamn match, because a lot of the matches were mid-card matches that you could see on any Raw or SmackDown. So, Dudleys and Ziggler against New Day and Rusev. Summer Rae at ringside. Xavier Woods also outside of the ring with his trombone, playing it. That was entertaining as hell. Xavier Woods and the New Day always bringing the entertainment to Raw. He's blowing on that trombone, playing themes of... started playing Rusev's theme on the trombone. That was funny as hell. That was great. And then he was playing the New Day theme, or the beat that goes along with, and the crowd claps, New Day sucks, or New Day rocks. He was playing that beat for people to do the chant. That was entertaining. Then they had King of WWE came out with a, whatever you call it, I don't know what you call it, picture video, a GIF. They came out with one of Summer Rae going like this with the trombone back and forth. She's going like this. I thought that was, I guess I have a dirty mind. Big deal. I'm sure a lot of people thought it. And they saw Summer Rae going back and forth with her hands like this on the trombone over and over and over. I'm sure she didn't do that to be sexual, but it looked sexual, and I'm sure a lot of sexual jokes came out of that picture on the WWE at WWE on Twitter. If you follow WWE's tweets, they tweeted out a picture and a short video playing over and over of Summer Rae grabbing the trombone and going back and forth like this, moving it. So that was just absolutely hilarious to see that picture. And WWE's the ones that tweeted it out. So thank you for tweeting it out, because I commented on it and I replied to it and put it up on my Twitter, and I thought it was fucking hilarious seeing Summer Rae do that. But maybe some will say I have a dirty mind. Go ahead and say it. I don't care. And if you weren't thinking like that was sexual, or if you didn't make a dirty joke, then you're probably under 12 years old. I mean, you don't understand that that was sexual, or you're 10 years old and under and you didn't get it on what she's doing. Looked like she was jerking off the goddamn trombone to me. But maybe people disagree and say I have a sick fucking mind. And I do have a sick mind. I also have a sick sense of humor. Sorry, that's who I am. But I'm not a pervert. And that's all I got to say about that. I was just having fun. It was funny, so I replied to it. And it did look sexual, so I made a joke about it. Big deal. Up next was... after Rusev and the New Day win and defeat the Dudleys and Ziggler, up next was, I think it was Big Show and Cesaro. And before that, you had the Cosmic Wasteland again in a Night of Champions kickoff show rematch. Cosmic Wasteland went up against Neville and the Lucha Dragons again. This time the Neville and the Lucha Dragons win and defeat the Cosmic Wasteland. That match to me was pretty boring. You could have seen it on Superstars or SmackDown. And it wasn't even on the pay-per-view. It was on the kickoff show last night, and then they put it on Raw tonight. So Cesaro versus Big Show is up next. I didn't pay much attention to that match. I left my TV, I left my room, I left Twitter. I went downstairs in my house, got some food, got a drink, and basically didn't pay attention to Cesaro Big Show. Big Show ends up knocking him out with the knockout punch. I did see that. 1, 2, 3, Big Show wins. They're trying to build up Big Show like he's a giant monster again, and trying to get people to care about Big Show and Brock Lesnar at Madison Square Garden in October. In I believe close to, I think, 10 days away or something. I think 10 or 9 days away. Not this Saturday, next Saturday on WWE Network. They're having a show live on the network from Madison Square Garden on Saturday night, where it's Big Show taking on a returning Brock Lesnar. And I understand why they're trying to build up the Big Show as a destroyer and a killer giant, because they got to build him up a little bit to take on the beast, Brock Lesnar. Big Show gets on the mic and cuts a decent promo. It wasn't that bad. I was actually surprised, because I thought it was a decent promo from the Big Show, and I'm really sick of the Big Show. I want him to retire. I'm just sick of seeing that guy. But his promo tonight was pretty good. He talked and said, I'm the greatest giant in the history of this business. And then what was stupid, but what else can you really say about Brock Lesnar? Because he absolutely got destroyed by Brock at the Royal Rumble, I think in 2014, where Brock beat the crap out of him with a steel chair over and over and over. And then Brock Lesnar went on to defeat The Undertaker at WrestleMania 30. So all the Big Show could really bring up for us to remember is when he owned and defeated Brock Lesnar in 2002 at the Survivor Series, where it was from Madison Square Garden. So maybe brought up defeating Brock at Madison Square Garden just because Survivor Series 2002 was held there. And the coming up WWE Network special coming up is going to be Big Show and Brock again at MSG. You don't know what MSG is? Look it up. You should know what it stands for. It's the world's most famous arena, for God's sakes, in New York City. So, home of the Rangers and the Knicks, and world's most famous arena, probably over 500 WWE, WWF, WWF shows have been held at MSG since probably the 60s. So even Vince McMahon's father, his father, so Vince McMahon Jr.'s grandfather even promoted, I think promoted boxing and wrestling shows at Madison Square Garden probably in the 50s and 40s. And then Vince's father, Vince McMahon Sr., of course, promoted and was a promoter of the WWF and promoted a ton of wrestling shows at MSG. MSG, Madison Square Garden, in my opinion, WWE doesn't run shows there 3 times a year, or they don't run shows there every month like they used to in the 80s and early 90s, but MSG is still, in my opinion, WWE's arena. Like ECW had the ECW arena, well, Madison Square Garden is WWE's ECW arena, in my opinion. Even though they only run probably 2 shows a year there, maybe 3. But two or three a year they run there, but it's still their home. It's their home base, basically, in their home arena. So Big Show brings up, I defeated him in 2002. I laughed when I heard that, and I thought, are you fucking kidding me? Nobody remembers that. And probably a lot of new fans that didn't even watch in 2002, they don't know what the fuck Big Show's talking about. But if you need a history lesson and didn't watch in 2002, go back and watch the Survivor Series 2002, and you will see what I'm talking about. Big Show defeats Brock at Survivor Series 2002 with help from Paul Heyman, who screwed Brock Lesnar and turned on him. So Big Show really only won the title because of Paul Heyman screwing Brock. And Paul Heyman, maybe he'll screw Brock again at MSG in less than 2 weeks. Maybe he'll screw him again and go with the Big Show, but I doubt it. That'd be pointless and stupid and make no sense for Paul Heyman to turn on Brock. It would make absolutely no fucking sense. And Paul Heyman hasn't even changed. Now that Brock is like a babyface and is cheered everywhere he goes, Paul Heyman hasn't changed his character to a babyface manager. He still cuts his promos like he did when he was a heel. So Paul Heyman is not really a babyface, but he gets cheered also. So Big Show cuts a promo. I said I thought it was pretty good. Let's move on. No Sting tonight on Raw. There were reports earlier that Sting was going to be on Monday Night Raw, that he was going to be on the show. Obviously, that changed. I heard rumors. I don't know if it's true. Sting went home to rest because he's really beat up and injured. Well, I'm sure he is injured. Excuse me. I'm sure Sting is injured, but he wasn't on Raw because he's injured, and he deserves a break and a rest after he put on a pretty good performance and took a couple bumps last night against Seth. So Sting's at home. He was not on Raw. I was okay with that, but it would have been nice to see him come to the ring and get a standing ovation because he deserved it. And he deserves a standing ovation for giving us that good, nice match at Night of Champions against Rollins. So, no Sting. I heard rumors he's at home and it's not good, that he has a neck and a spinal cord injury. I hope that is not true, but it may be true, and if it is, I really hope Sting doesn't need neck surgery or something like that, because that'd be awful. If he needs neck surgery, Sting will be out of wrestling and out of the WWE for a whole year. That would really suck, because I would like to see Sting at WrestleMania 32, because I'm going to be going to WrestleMania 32, so I'd like to see him there. I'll wrestle one last time. I haven't seen Sting live since 1994, when I was a young kid. Anyways, no Sting tonight. And I understood why it was not on Raw. He's obviously injured. The main event was U.S. title rematch. In the entire Raw, they kept showing Corporate Kane backstage, dressed up in a suit like he was back as a director of the Authority. So, like he was back at his job and nothing happened. Like he was never taken out by Seth Rollins, or I think Brock took out Corporate Kane and broke his ankle, or maybe Seth Rollins did that with the stairs. I don't remember. One of them did it. Either Brock or Rollins broke Kane's ankle. Corporate Kane was back like nothing happened. Like he wasn't attacked. He's back in his suit doing his job, and he says, "Hi, Seth." Or this is my impression of Corporate Kane tonight. "Hi, Seth. I'm glad to be back at work. Don't I look nice in my suit?" And just stupid shit like that. He was talking to Rollins saying, "I'm happy to be back." And I'm happy to be back at work. And he said the same thing to Triple H and Stephanie. Corporate King goes, I'm happy to be back at work. I'm doing my job. And then he tells Rollins, you're facing John Cena tonight to get back your U.S. title. So it's you against John Cena in a Night of Champions rematch. Or aren't you excited, Seth, to face John Cena again? And then Stephanie and Triple H said to him, like, what are you talking about? We saw you last night as Kane. And what are you talking about? You weren't at Night of Champions and nobody saw him last night. So basically, Corporate Kane is bipolar and he has two different personalities. He has Kane and he has Corporate Kane, or who Corporate Kane I like to call as Glenn, because that's his real name, and he looks like a Glenn. He looks like a dork as Corporate Kane. He is a dork as Corporate Kane. But the real Kane stood up and showed himself. I knew it would happen at the end of the show, and I wanted it to happen. So Seth Rollins loses to John Cena. Big shocker. No, not a shocker at all. Everybody knew it was going to happen. It would have been really weird for 24 hours after Cena won the title for Cena to lose the title back on Raw to Rollins. It would have made no sense, really. It would have been pretty dumb, because Rollins does not need the U.S. title. He's a world champion, and I hope he stays a world champion. And I'm sure Rollins, after Kane, he comes back, and I was glad to see him back at the end of the show. Came out through the ring, started dragging Rollins under the ring like he was taking him to hell. Well, we have Brock and Taker Hell in the Cell booked. I think we're going to have Seth and Kane in a Hell in the Cell match for the championship at the Hell in the Cell pay-per-view event. And maybe they won't be in Hell in the Cell, but it should be in Hell in the Cell for the title. Because Kane has been in a lot of Hell in the Cell matches, and put Seth in there with him, because then he won't be able to escape. So I think they're going with Rollins and Kane at Hell in the Cell for the title. So Rollins' head is sticking out of the hole in the ring at the end. Then Kane pulls his head down, pushes his head down, goes like this. Basically, Kane makes Rollins disappear, pulls him to hell under the ring. Coming up from under the ring, we've seen that many times before from Kane and The Undertaker. They both have done it. Probably each of them have probably done it twice in their careers. Came up from under the ring, or 2 or 3 times they've done it. So that was nothing new, but I thought it was still well done to end Raw. It was a good ending, I thought. You had Kane pull Rollins down into the hole, into hell. Hopefully WWE books a Hell in a Cell match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship between Kane and Seth Rollins. Hopefully that happens at Hell in a Cell. I think it should happen. Anyways, if I rate tonight's Monday Night Raw, I'd give it a 6. Paige and her pipe bomb in the Charlotte Celebration segment, I would give that a 10. That was absolutely great, and that was well done, and it was put together so very well by the WWE, and put together and said well by Paige. It was awesome. So that was a highlight of Raw, was what Paige said, and a lot of it was basically true. So this is the end of my Raw review video, the Raw After Night of Champions 2015. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll probably do another Raw review after Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. I'll do another Raw review. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye for now.